A little late. I was kind of hesitant about which to do first. As far as tonight's amend, um, it's getting late, so I do want to do it. Not just to get it done, but just to have one. Tonight's amend is the only one that I'm actually gonna. I think it's the only one that I'm gonna use a person's name. So tonight's amend goes out to David Turner. The reason why I don't mind using this man's name is because how many David Turners are there? And certainly I know there's a middle initial, and this person was much older than me, made friends with me when I was in Stony Brook. I think, looking back, probably a very good guy, but I was so paranoid, and I was so thinking that everybody's already out to get me, and there's always something. There's always a leverage. There's always an objectifying. There's always everything is very transactional and utilitarian, and anyway, I had a he was a person that actually, when I was in rehab, after, between colleges, but he's one of the few people that actually wrote to me in rehab, and I could never track him down. I don't think I even have the letter anymore. I think it got flooded in my friend's basement, where I had a lot of my things. But anyway, back to the story. I had a line on getting some psychedelics, but I didn't necessarily have the cash on me. This is the story I remember, and I was friends with this guy, or he was mainly friends with me, and he was trying to encourage me to ask this girl named Jane out, and how many Janes are there in the world? It's like the odds of linking this is breaking anonymity is slim. But anyway, I didn't have the money for the full purchase, and I remember he was going to drive me, and I was selling it to him as well. And I was doing like a little scumbaggy move, but when you try to make things happen, it's just like I'm not thinking it through. And I was charging him what I would have sold him without telling him that pretty much that he was, in a sense, financing it, even though I was making a profit. And rather than just being upfront and said, "Hey, buddy, like, here's I'm short, here's I'm this, here's I'm that," I'll never forget that when I don't know how he realized it, or maybe I cracked out of turn, maybe somebody told, I don't know what. But I remember him confronting me in his car, and we weren't going, and I remember just saying, "Okay, let's just go," and I agreed to anything. I was just like, "All right, let's just do it," and I agreed to anything that he was saying. I want this, I want that. I'm like, I agreed just to get it done with. Once again, just to ignore it, avoid it, and just move on with it, and just do the deal. Whatever it was, whatever the renegotiation was. And I remember he was telling me something about, like, you don't treat friends that way. You don't do that. I mean, this is relating to the charging people for my driving. And then on the flip side, here's me, let's say to get 100 cost 100. But then I'm selling him, something like 35 or 40 for 80, or something like along those lines. It's just a shitty fucking thing to do, right? And I never bothered. I don't even think I thanked you or reached out to you after rehab, after I got your letter. I certainly wasn't aware. I actually, after rehab, I did see you. We used to go to this, there was this club and we all went there, like a rave club in the city, called NASA. I don't know. But I remember seeing you there, and felt very awkward about it. I just wasn't authentic with myself, even before rehab, after rehab. Didn't matter. And I remember trying to look for you with the middle initial years and years and years ago, just to kind of talk about the story and on the internet, and just Google you or something. Every couple of years I tried, and it never worked. So this amend goes here. I remember that you were always, you were one of the few people that pronounced my name right. You did speak Hebrew. I remember meeting your parents, or your mother maybe. It was always suspect why you were friends with me or something like that, and you're a lot older. But I was friends with older people, but I was so paranoid and suspicious of everybody and everything that even if if I couldn't detect a motive of a person, I would think that that they're so good that they must be, like, rather than think that they're not doing anything nefarious, I'm thinking they're doing something nefarious, I just can't detect it. And that's the way I felt about you. So I didn't care to view things in utilitarian ways or in objectifying ways. And you're right, it's not a good, you don't do that to your friends. You don't do that to even somebody who considers you a friend. That's being exploited. Let's say somebody considers me a friend, and I don't consider them a friend or as good of a friend, and I just do things because I know that they will do it. I think that, I wasn't aware that that's the kind of person I was, but that's clearly the kind of person I was. I don't think it's the kind of person I am. Nowadays, I try to go out of my way. I try to be the guy that helps people move. I try to be the guy that, that listens. As bad as, as hard as it is for me to usually listen, I'm usually clearly the one talking. But David Turner, I would be so grateful to reconnect. I'm not trying to even throw you under the bus with, talking about previous drug use or anything like that. There's no way to link it. How many of your name is there? Hundreds, I would think, at least, in the U.S. In the world. I mean, I know you were you lived in England for a while. You're much older. I mean, I want to thank you for your friendship, because I certainly never appreciated it then. You didn't have to write to me in rehab. You certainly did. I think you put together me dealing drugs to the next person, who's, I think, it's tomorrow's amend. I would love to know you, man. I would have loved to know you all those years, because I know in hindsight you were one of the good guys, or at least good guys for me, where I just didn't trust anybody, though. And I don't know if that was received by you and acknowledged or anything like that. So anyway, if you're out there, I mean, the odds of you being out there listening or watching this is slim to none. But for anybody else, it's, just don't be that kind of dick. Don't be that kind of asshole. Don't abuse your friends. Don't use your friends. Don't and if somebody considers you their friend, and you don't, vice versa, just be upfront and say, hey man, it's not like that. No reason to make people lose face later, So to you, David Turner, I truly wish I could make an amend, even if it's just maybe one day, tomorrow, a month from now, 5 years from now, whenever. Buy you, I don't know, a cup of coffee, buy you lunch, buy you fancy dinner, what, I don't know. Have a great conversation, just to say thank you, just for being the person that you were. I'm not focusing on the drugs. I mean, you did a lot of other things, but that has nothing to do with the amend. The amend is, I was a utilitarian piece of shit, and you called me out on it, and I ran away from you calling me out on it. And it took me a while to grow from that. And clearly I still remember as perhaps almost nearly as yesterday, the inside of your car, the kind of car, the getting yelled at and just being agreeable to just all of it, just to not acknowledge, just to not have to deal with it. Fine, okay, kind of thing. That's not the way to deal with it, So I wish I dealt with it differently, and thanks for listening.